Hi, I'm on the plot today and Mark has had a busy weekend and it's only going to get busier. So he's been organising, but I'll show you that in a second. But at the moment he's just popped off to a lady's house called Nicola. I got a message from her yesterday on Instagram offering some leftover wood chip that she's got, 4 builder's bags. So we were like, wow. That's amazing, thank you very much. And so we've just been to start collecting it and there is so much, honestly. I'm so grateful, Nicola, thank you so much. So he's gone back now to go and start shifting it because we can't lift the builder's bags between us because they are full. So he's going to go fill up a load of bins, fill up a load of the bins that we've got around the plot and bring it here in bits. So that means I need to crack on with getting some stuff done. But I did want to have show you a quick tour around first, and then when he gets here I'm going to start putting it down, but I do have some weeds to get out first too. There's weeds everywhere, so so much to do. Let's get on with it. So this is what he's done. He's organised it all, so we've got all the plant pots, the big ones, on this racking now, and then some module trays. I've taken a lot of the module trays home because that's really where I start everything off, so that's where I need them. So yeah, I didn't even know we had a rotavator, honestly. I didn't even know. That might have helped at certain points, I think, but yeah, rotavators aren't really my thing, I'll be honest. Not with the amount of, you know, pernicious weeds we've got here. So let's go have a look in the greenhouse because that's where you can really see a difference. When he came home yesterday, he said, right, he says, because we've changed it so much, I've made a shrine to your dad. A shrine to him. Again, my dad is still alive. But yeah, there's his wood burner, and he's left some boots. So we've got boots there, and that's his chair that he used to sit in the shed. Might give that a clean up because it looks comfy. So yes, it's all come out of here now. So that's great because this means that along these back benches now, when it's tidied up a bit, I can put things like aubergines and chilies and things in pots in here. I'm tempted to bring them up, but it's really not warm enough yet, but I really am tempted. So he's done all down this end as well, which looks great now, neat and tidy. I need to do this. He says he's left this bit for me because this is my sort of working area, so it's all a bit messy. And then over there in that corner as well. So he did weed in here as well because there was lots of bindweed coming up, and it's because the wood paneling at the bottom is rotten. So he's put a little board there to try and stop things coming through, and he's going to be recladding all this at some point this year because under there as well needs redoing. So yeah, so I'm going to start weeding and getting on so it looks like I've done something, and then we'll show you how we're getting on. Okay, so Mark's done one trip with probably 3/4 of a bag. So this is how much. If I back here, you can see the old stuff and then the new stuff. It looks lovely. So yeah, what I'm doing is I'm taking the pernicious weeds out, creeping buttercup, dandelions, grasses, things like that. But there's a lot of poppies and calendula that once they're covered, they'll just die. I am sort of agitating it all with the back of the rake first, just to kill any that are just annual seedlings. But I haven't got time to get in and get it all fully weeded because we want to try and get as much of this done as possible. I'm not sure we're going to get it all done today. I'm certainly not, because I've only got 2 hours again, which is probably more like an hour now actually. So yeah, so Mark's dropping it off and I'm putting it down, but it does looks so nice. So Mark brought the pond liner up the other day. So this is the area it's going in now. I don't want it right against the wall there because I want to be able to get to the wall to weed, because as you can see, there's a bramble and there's bindweed that comes through. So I need to be able to get around the back of it, and bindweed under it as well. This whole area is a bit hard to dig, so I think we might have to soak this area, really give it a really good water, and then get in and dig it out and dig all the weeds as well, because there's a lot. But obviously as we're digging down, we'll remove the weed roots as we see them. But I kind of imagined, I have to show you with it in my hand, but it's sideways on like that. Obviously that's sort of leaning over a bit, so like if it was straight. But I also do want to be able to get around that bed, so I'm not sure. See, if I'd thought of this first, which would have been a clever thing to do, I would have probably done things a bit differently. Yeah, not sure. But we'll have to have a think about it once it's clear. Because let me take this pond liner away and show you the area. That's the area, so I need to measure it up and plan it properly, I think. Hi, it is Tuesday, and what a glorious day again. Haven't had any rain here for ages, so some of you have been having thunderstorms the last couple of days, and I'm a little bit envious, if I'm honest, because we could do with a really good rainfall. Yorkshire Water are asking us, they're not putting a hosepipe ban on us yet, but they're asking us to be steady with the watering, so doing it by hand at home. But my newly planted perennials and things are not doing so well. They're certainly not growing like I would expect them to, and that's just lack of water really. And I've not been watering them loads. I probably should do a bit better with that, but I'll still be doing it by hand. So today I've brought up some tomatoes and cucumbers that are ready to go in the polytunnel. Mark finished tidying it all. I'll show you some photographs of the work that Mark did on Sunday after I left. And yeah, he did loads this weekend. I'm gonna have to give him a weekend off soon. I mean, not that soon, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. So I am planning to get the, I started digging up the strawberries that were on the path. I know I said I was going to leave them till they flowered, but I started digging them up with the intention of potting them up somewhere, then realised the time and just had to leave them. So it doesn't matter, we'll get runners this year and I'll be better this year. So I'm going to finish getting those up, and then I'm going to get the pallet collar up, I think. I've got some pots that need to be filled with the compost from that, and amended with some manure or some chicken pellets, something like that. And then I can plant some of the plants that I've got. I've got some gooseberry bushes that need planting up, and I'm going to use amended spent compost for that, and see how they go, because they're doing all right at the moment, and they're in tiny little nursery pots, so anything's better than that, right? So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to think about getting the wood chip down where I need it, and see how much space I'm going to allow myself for a little border where the pallet collar bed is. So yeah, let's get on before it gets too warm. So I've got the rest of the strawberries out of here, and the good thing is that even though it's 2 days since I dug half of them up, they were still looking okay actually. So I've given some freshly dug up ones to a neighbour. I've just popped them on a path. I'm going to give them a good water before I leave. And I have actually managed to salvage some, and they are planted up in here, because over time I am going to move the strawberries from the taller beds there to some of these shorter beds. Now I've crammed them in, and I've not divided them up as much as they could be divided up, because they were left out dry. So I've given them a really good water, and I've amended the soil with some chicken pellets. So yeah, hopefully they'll do well. But yeah, so we've got a big pile of wood chip there ready to go on that area, which I'll do in a moment. And we've still 3/4 bags, the big builder's sacks of wood chip there as well. So any more that we need will be great. Now, some of the weeds that I didn't get up the other day are already coming back through, so I will go through and pull some of those up as well. But there's no weed membrane, so I can just dig down, get the weed out, and then cover it back up. That's the beauty of not using weed membrane. I know they're coming back up quicker, but they're going to do. And getting them up when they're tangled in the weed membrane, all matted in, is just impossible. It's impossible to get rid of them. Now, I've forgotten the variety of these lettuces in here, but they're looking really good. Spring onions less so, but you can see some weed seedlings as well. But there are carrot seedlings in there. How good's that? They're coming up all along this bed, and they're coming up in this bed now. My rocket's bolted. It's gone to seed, so it's no good anymore for eating. But I'm quite happy to see the flowers, and I'm just going to let it go to seed. Well, I'm going to let it flower. I might let a couple go to seed because I'm going to want the space for something else, because I've got some more lettuces ready to go out. These are icebergs, and they're starting now to sort of make those heads. I've got some more over here. See, this one here is already feeling quite firm there. I really like that. It just makes me very happy. Sweet peas, I'm going to tie those in today. I think they really need drenching. They have been getting watered. Everything's been getting watered, but the sun is so hot and the days are so dry, and we've had no rain. So, and no one's going to sneak up on anybody at this plot, because this particular side, this wood chip, is so crunchy. Wood chip ASMR, anybody? Yeah. Over in this weedy broad bean bed, broad beans are flowering nicely. The little tiny ones are catching up, they are flowering. And my peas are still without a support. Really need to get one of those in for them as well. But yeah, they're looking good too. I'm very happy with how things are looking. Obviously there's a lot more to weed and do. I'm just having 5 minutes because honestly it is so hot. I've watered this side because I have just decided to water the pond area, because I figured if I give it a good drenching today and then I water it again tomorrow, it should just dig much easier. I've watered the perennial bed. There's a lot of poppies in here that I'm leaving in here. There's a lot of poppies in this bed as well that I'm not likely to leave now, because I'm going to, well, I need the beds for growing things, don't I? So, but I do want to keep as many as possible, so I'm not digging them out until the last minute. Strawberries, I've had a good water, and so have the garlic and the herbs. The herbs in these pots keep dying. I'm hoping that one's going to come back that time, because the thyme over here that died out, dried out and died out, is coming back now. But this lemon balm, I really need to remember to harvest some to take home, because I really want to do that. The pallet collar bed has gone down a layer. So I've partly done that. I just need to do more. I just broke off to do some easier jobs because it was heavy going digging in this heat. So I think what I might do is tidy this area now and just get this wood chip spread out among here, fill the holes, because the strawberries took a lot of soil with them, so just do this area. I don't want to do around the back of these beds yet, because I want to get down here and get this, all the weeds out and stuff, so yeah. And I still need to plant out the tomatoes and cukes into the polytunnel. Okay, so conditions are absolutely not ideal for planting out, but I can only be here through the day, and it's going to be hot for the next few days. It's 38 degrees in here right now, so I'm just going to get these in the ground. I'm going to pull out a few weeds as I go. There's not many. Some have come back. Like I said, I watered it on purpose so that they would, so that I could get them. But I'm just going to plant them out. I'm not sure about plant spacing because I don't know how many I'm going to have. I've got 11 tomatoes here with me today. And I can't remember, I did count the others this morning, I can't remember. But the others will probably predominantly go on this side. The cucumbers are going to go on this side. So we'll put tomatoes down here for now, and we'll put the cucumbers down at the bottom end here. Well, that is a beautiful sight. So I'm not planting them too closely this year. I mean, they're still quite close, but they're not going too close this year because last year we got botrytis, and as much as I think it was because I didn't open the doors when I should have done, I want to make sure that I don't this year. So I'd rather have a better crop from fewer plants than a small crop from more plants. So these are your stalwarts, you know, things like Moneymaker, Gardener's Delight, Elsa Craig, Alicante. We've got Crimson Cocktail. We've got Beef Steak F1. I've got Sun Baby and Sun Gold. Now, I do have 3 of the Crimson Cocktail, and I have 5 of the Ladiva cucumbers, but I've decided to plant 2 of the cucumbers and just 1 of the Crimson Cocktail in here, because I did say at the beginning that I was going to have 1 of each variety that I grew in the polytunnel, so I'm going to stand by that, but I am going to find somewhere else for them. I'm not going to be wasting them, but because Ladiva, these ones, are a small variety of cucumber, I think I'm going to try and grow those at home in a greenhouse, because they're the ones that my oldest will snack on all day long, so it'd be nice to have those at home. So yeah, everything's had a good water. Really need to get in and weed this. Haven't done the support. Time has run away with me as usual. Haven't planted the gooseberries up, but yes, I'm very happy that the carrots are coming up. You can see them a bit better. No, it's been watered. Need to thin those out really. So they're doing okay. The lettuces are looking lovely, I've got to say. I'm quite impressed with myself. Although I shouldn't be really, because I didn't grow these ones from seed. I bought these at the garden centre. But I believe the Jerusalem artichokes are coming up now. I've never grown them before. I know it's weedy, I need to weed them. But I do believe that those, that tall one, they're the Jerusalem artichokes. So I've filled my bird bath up. I've given everything a water. Unfortunately, the blueberries are having to tolerate tap water, because I don't have any rainwater because it hasn't rained for weeks. But yeah, so tomorrow when I come, I think just a lot of weeding needs to get done, to be honest. Weeding these beds, start with the ones with crops in and then get the empty beds done. I think also it's time to get the brassicas in the ground. Some of them are quite small, well, a lot of them are quite small, but I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it. And then maybe, if it's a bit cooler, I will dig that bit over, but that is hard work. And I'm kind of putting it off. So yeah, I'm happy with how it's looking, particularly the wood chip. I want to say a really big thank you again to Nicola for the wood chip. It has just, it's just transformed it, and I'm so grateful. It's also saved us an absolute fortune. So thank you again, Nicola. Really appreciate it. So now it's time for me to pop home, and I will see you tomorrow. It's Thursday. I was going to come yesterday, and when I got up in the morning, it was a day very much like today. It's cool, it's overcast, it's a perfect day for getting loads of jobs done on the plot. However, Mum phoned me about 9 o'clock. I was just on the way back from the school run, and she said, "We're going to the garden centre, would you like to come?" So of course I said yes, and I went, and I'm really glad I did actually, because I got a load of annuals, flowers that I wanted, which is great, but I did also get 3 more tomato varieties that I haven't got already, and I managed to get some plants for the pond area, which you'll see in another video. I'm going to do a whole video on the pond. We haven't started work on it yet, but we're going to start very soon, and yeah, I'm going to do a full video on that, because it's been a learning curve for me. I know nothing about ponds, I know nothing about aquatic plants, marginals. I know what they are, but I don't know what a pond needs, and it's a very small pond, so I didn't really know what was appropriate for it. So I've got some advice from the garden centre, and made some purchases, and I'm excited now to get going, but you'll see that in a later video. But today I've brought loads of plants because it's time to get things planted out. It is the 15th of May today. We're still a week or 2 away from our last frost date, but the long range forecasts are showing that we're not getting any frosts. It's not warm enough for some plants, but everything I've got, except my aubergines, which are still in my house, everything else is either in the greenhouse or outside in the garden at home anyway. So if they're outside or in their greenhouse, they might as well be in the ground, because the greenhouse is only a degree or 2 warmer on a night than it is outside anyway. I've been tracking the temperatures, and there's not much in it. So I brought things up to plant out. I've got 3 new tomatoes that are going to go in the polytunnel today. The tomatoes I planted the other day are looking really good in the polytunnel. And yeah, so there's a lot of weeding to get done, but I'm going to weed a bed, plant a bed, weed a bed, plant a bed. But now it's time to decide where things are going. because I was trying to do a plan the other night and I was realising that I am fast running out of space. So I'm going to have to give up the dahlia bed and find somewhere else on the plot for the dahlias, and I'm going to have to get rid of the perennial bed at some point. Gosh, sun's come out. It's not as overcast as it was now. But I've got some things to plant up, and I'm going to interplant things as well and get things in. I've been having a nosy at my other plot holders because I've got some sweet corn to plant, and I've got about 24 sweet corn plants, which I didn't expect them to germinate as well as they have. They're going in the brick bed, and I was looking at my neighbour's planting, and he's had his plot for a couple of decades, and I figure if he's plant spacings like that and it's working for him, then I can give it a go, can't I? He's only done it about a foot apart with the sweet corn, and I'd be able to get more crops in if I did that, so I'm not sure. So if you're an experienced sweet corn grower, let me know what you think. Should I stick to the 2 foot apart, or should I shrink it down a little bit and get more in? I don't want to use the whole bed because I want to grow some beans, some dwarf beans, and I want to grow some squash in there as well. And I know those 3 all grow well together. I don't want to interplant them because the bed's just not big enough, I don't think, for interplanting them. And they are dwarf beans, not climbing beans. So they would get shaded out, I think. So, I don't know. Let's just go and get on with it and figure it out as we go. The first thing I'm going to do is this bed, because this should be the easiest bed. So if you remember, this bed has only got bought compost in it. It doesn't have any soil from the plot. We haven't used any tools in here. So there shouldn't be any cross-contamination at this point. So we shouldn't have any clubroot in here. And so I've chosen to grow kohlrabi in here because this is not a clubroot resistant variety. And well, it's something I really want to grow as well. It's called Purple Vienna. It's beautiful leaves, purple and green. It's really, really lovely. And I'm just going to plant these in here, and then I might interplant with radish, to be honest, because radish is something that I struggle with clubroot. So I tend to grow that in pots or in like a raised bed like this that's had no contamination. So I'm going to get this planted because this is the easiest job that I've got to do today as well. There's no weeding to do, nothing. It's just ready to go. So let's get this done. Right, so they're all done. I just used my hands to dig the compost because I don't want to use my tools and contaminate the soil until I absolutely have to. So now we need to think about where everything else is going to go. Everything I've brought up I've just sort of placed on the beds, but as you can see, even the weeded beds need weeding again. I think we've had something digging. I found some fox poo, so I think there's been a fox digging through the manured beds, but you know, it's alright. So I've brought up a few different things. I've got a few types of marigold, a couple of types of marigolds. I've brought up my cabbages and all my brassicas, lettuce, the tomatoes I've got a tray of white cosmos, chard, and more brassicas there. I brought my onions over there in that bed. The thing is with the brassicas, I've got way more than I have space for. However, I am sort of unsure which way around to do this. So I've got some that my dad gave me, some brassicas. Now, one of the varieties he's given me is a cabbage called Galvatron, which I grew last year and did really well in the brassica cage. But I've grown clubroot resistant varieties, but as you can see, they're not big and they're not doing well, and they've stalled, and they've been potted on again into a bigger module tray, but they're still not doing very well. So do I risk it with the small clubroot resistant varieties, or do I go with the non-clubroot resistant varieties that are bigger, stronger plants? I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and get things planted out. I'm going to have a cabbage bed, a cauliflower bed, a broccoli bed, and a sprout bed. And let's just see how much room we've got, eh? Let's just see what we can do. I've also got courgettes. The variety is zucchini. And I'm going to put 4 of those in this bed. So I've been sowing loads of squash this week. I have no idea where any of it's going to go, but yeah, sowing lots of it. So yeah, this can be the courgette bed. I do have a couple of other courgettes that I'm growing that I've sown myself that are far behind this. These were from my parents. So I've got 4 of these. So I'm going to get these and put them in there. So I've made a discovery today. I've discovered that I do not like putting insect netting on. I have just done an appalling job, but I don't have the right tools to do it, to be honest. So I've just sort of cobbled something together. My parents gave me some an old netting grow tunnel that I've cut in half because it was really long, and I've used it on the kohlrabi, and that's okay for now. And I've also used it on what are they, cauliflowers. But the ones on the cauliflowers, it's kind of in the middle of the bed, and it's just to protect them overnight, because tomorrow I'm going to have to come back and re-look at the netting because I have done an appalling job. But I did see Danny at Grow Up Channel, and he suggested elastic, so I'm going to buy some sturdy elastic tonight, hopefully, to be delivered tomorrow, and use that. So a couple of them, I've tied them on with just some twine, garden twine, and one of them I've used the pegs that came with it, but it's not good. And also I've made the supports quite high because there are, I don't know why, because it's broccoli in there. Broccoli does get quite tall, but the sprouts one is really low. So it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So I don't think the insect netting is wide enough for the really tall ones, so I'm going to redo it tomorrow. I can redo it, but I can't be bothered now. But it's covered, so it's protected, but it's not stable, so hopefully we won't get any strong winds overnight. So I still want to get the plants. What do I still want to get planted? I want to get the courgettes planted still, and I need to get the tomatoes in, and I might get some lettuce in. Might get some of that rocket out and some lettuce in. I've got about 45 minutes to go. Oh, my back though, man. It's hard work, you know. I'll tell you what else I've got. I've got 2 Asturian tree cabbage plants to go in somewhere. I'm not sure where I'm going to put those. Now, I've grown those before in my garden, but they did get decimated because they were not netted, and so I never got to eat any. I had a lot of cabbage whites that year though, and my kids loved to see the butterflies, so it was alright. But yeah, I would like to try it. It's kind of the point of it, isn't it? So yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going to plant those. Because they're going to need a decent amount of space. I do have some room in the cauliflower bed, but I've got some tiny cauliflowers still to go out that I'm going to do tomorrow, so I don't know. But I'm going to bring in all of the remaining seedlings that need to be planted out, the young plants, bring them in, keep them out of the way of the cabbage whites, and give them a good water, and I'll be back tomorrow to see what I'm going to do with them. But I am going to at least pot them on because I've brought some compost. So I will do some potting on tomorrow and let those grow in case we have any slug damage or whatever happens. So I've got replacements as they grow, but I want to pot them on so that they get bigger as the plants in the ground get bigger. Oh, I'm back. Honestly. I really could have chosen an easier hobby. Good morning. It is Friday and just after 9:30, and I've just got here to the plot. I am prepped for a full day, nearly, on the plot. I've got my lunch and I've got something to drink, and I'm raring to go. This is my 6-year-old daughter's backpack, by the way. As much as I do love Care Bears, being a child of the 80s, I'm not sure at 43 years old whether it suits me, I'll be honest. Reliving my youth. So, lots of jobs to do. First job I want to get done is get the remaining tomatoes in the polytunnel. Not the ones that are at home that I've grown from seed, the ones I bought the other day from the garden centre. I'll show you what I've got in a second. Then I need to battle those nets, but I might leave that for later in the day. Probably when I'm tired and angry, I'll probably be able to manage that. But I want to get as many of the beds weeded as possible. I want to make sure I've got all the beds with crops in them weeded, and then I'll start work on the ones without. The broad bean bed desperately needs weeding, and I've also brought some dwarf bean seeds up to interplant between the broad beans. So these are Sinesta. I've grown these before. I grew them in my back garden a couple of years ago, and they were very, very prolific and really good as well. Really nice yellowy green colour. And then we've got these, which are Ferrari, which I've never grown before. So they're new to me. But it says ideal for deep freezing, so that's great because I do like to freeze those. So they're going to be interplanted in the pea and bean bed, and we might put some courgettes in there as well because those broad beans are in flower now. You know, we're going to be harvesting them in a few weeks, so which is great. And also then, if I get time as well, I really need to start getting the sweet corn bed weeded, which is the big brick bed, and get it mulched because I've got some manure left which I want to use on there, and I want to get some chicken manure in there and just really amend it, because last year the squash that were in there, squash are very hungry plants, they were in there, they didn't do well. So I think that it's already quite depleted of nutrients in there, and then obviously squash being in will have taken a lot out of it. There's a lot of nettles, bindweed, even blackberries growing in there, so all things that take a lot of nutrients. So yes, we need to get that cleared as quickly as possible, and then if I can find something to cover with it, I might cover it with. I might manure it and then cover it. We'll see. We'll see. Also, I really need to get those gooseberries planted today, so we'll do that as well. So loads to do, so no time to talk, I'm afraid. Bye. Right, so the varieties I've got, new ones, are this one. This is First in the Field, it's called. I've never heard of this before. And it says it's a bush variety. It's funny, you know, because the instructions on all of them are the same. Remove side shoots, but it says it's a bush. They really need. I think tomato labelling is pretty terrible. They don't really give enough information, especially if you're a first-time grower. You know, what's a bush variety? What's a vine variety? You know, it doesn't really give you the best information. Anyway, I'm going to put this on the other side of the polytunnel, away from the rest of the tomatoes for now, because it's a bush variety and it will need a bit more space. So, the other two are regular vine, and this was one I grew last year, and I don't really think I got much out of it, but again, you know, I didn't get much out of any of them last year, and this is Saint-Pierre, or Saint-Pierre, and it says it is an excellent one for sauce, I believe. Oh, no, that's not that one. An ancient French variety, still considered to have the best taste and flavour of all the European varieties. There you go. And then we've got Cornu des Andes. Now this one's the one for sauces. So yeah, they are a bit yellowy. They're not as green as some of the other ones, but that's just because they're in these little nursery pots. So we'll get them in the ground and they will pick up, I'm sure, very quickly. So this row is now complete. And our last two additions at the end there, and then over on this side, let's move that, I've got cucumbers that I planted the other day, La Diva, and I've allowed 2 slots for my Carmen cucumbers that I've sown. The other cucumbers I've sown are outdoor, so we'll have 4 cucumbers in here, and then that's the out in the field, or first in the field, sorry. And so here we've got to get 12 other tomatoes in, so I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So I do think what I am going to have to do is what I did last time and do a double row. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do, because I've got all the other tomatoes still to go out, so I might do the double row this side. But I think I've got 16 tomatoes are not going to go here. I mean, I can grow some in pots, because I do have some pots that I want to use for tomatoes, like the Crimson Cocktail that we've got. So we'll have to see. We'll see how things go. call from my parents to say they've just been to a garden centre. Huh. Where was I? No? Yeah. It's one just down the road actually from my house, so it is a really good one, and I haven't been this year yet, so I do need to go. But they've got lots of annual flowers in, so I need to go and get some, because I do want the pots that I've got, any that don't have food growing in them. I just want annuals. I just want flowers everywhere, really. I just want a very flowery allotment. Right, well, I'm the same colour as my t-shirt now. It is boiling. It is 3:15. I've been here since 9:30, and I'm ready to go home now. But before I do, I'm going to show you around. Now, Mark and I will be up here on Sunday, which you'll see in next week's video, and we're going to get some stuff done. I think we might start work on the pond, I think. And I think I'm going to film a full plot tour for you. But for now, I'm just going to give you a little glance around and show you what I've got done. So, I'll show you what I did yesterday as well, because I didn't film before I left. So, perennial bed is looking all right. So these are the courgettes. Now I'm thinking, because this perennial bed is these plants are going to be moved, I'm thinking of getting an arch to go from here to here to grow runner beans up, and maybe one from that bed to that bed as well for runner beans and French beans, I'm thinking. So let's just not look at the net. So we've got calabrese and cabbage in that one, cauliflower, sprouts, Brussels sprouts, and calabrese. Broccoli. I was going to say broccoli. I should just call it broccoli in that bed. Then in here, we've got the garlic. You've seen this. And what I've done in here, now they've been a bit trashed by the water, but I've got some calendula seedlings that are growing in here that just self-seeded, and they're looking good. So I've just put some chard in. It's a bit of an empty bed, but we'll see how things go. I've only tried chard once, and I thought it tasted like soil, so I'm hoping I'm hoping to be convinced that it's nice. I'm going to try it again. Again, just left a few calendula seedlings in this bed, and I've weeded it out. That's where my fork's gone. I've weeded the icebergs. I've put some French marigolds in with the sweet peas there. I tied those in yesterday as well. Weeded the Jerusalem artichoke bed. Mostly weeded this bed and that bed, so they're both empty. Kohlrabi got netted yesterday. This has got the manure on it now after it's been dug over and weeded. This is the last bed that needs to be done, and it's a bit of a challenge, so I'm going to do that on Sunday probably. Yep, I just keep picking out the weeds as I go past on these beds. Bed over there weeded with the rake in it. Need to shift that before I go. And this bed has been weeded. Oh, missed a bit. Every time I look at these weed beds I've weeded, I find bits I've missed. It's like I can't see it, you know, and then all of a sudden it appears again. So, and I've put my little support up for my peas. I just planted these out in a clump. They were bought ones, Waverex, and I have sown some dwarf beans in here. I have watered it, but it's looking dry again already. So down here, sort of in a square around the peas, I've done the variety that I can't remember the name of. Ferrari, that's it. And then in between these, one in between each bean plant, broad bean plant, I've sown Sonesta. So that's what's done in there. Polytunnel has been watered, although you can't see that it's been watered. It was absolutely drenched. This bed's been weeded. Haven't done the poppy bed yet, so the poppy bed needs doing, and the perennial bed's going to need moving. And to be honest, some of these poppies are so big that I actually might just try and dig out loads of soil with them and transplant them, and we'll see. We'll see. Strawberries. I keep getting in there and getting the odd weed out that I see, like this. But look. Ooh. Garlic, I've kind of weeded that. I just went in really quickly though and done that. Herb bed's looking nice. Still haven't finished the palette collar bed, but yeah, very happy with how things are. I haven't used all the wood chip yet, but yeah, loving it. It's time to go home now. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in about a week. Have a lovely gardening week. Bye for now.